never had a vaccine that is as safe or as effective as these.
Would you introduce yourself and then what your position is here at UVA?
Sure. So my name is Bill Petri, and I'm a professor in infectious diseases at UVA.
Awesome. So, for a company that is looking to produce a COVID-19 vaccine, what is the process like from developing the idea to actually getting it to the mass market?
Well, this has been really exceptional, like the accelerated pace of vaccine development, so not typical. But what happened is that everyone was able to benefit from 20 years of research because the original SARS virus was in China 20 years ago. And so there's been continuing research on coronaviruses that have this ability to spill over from animals into people.
So even once we make all these advancements and figure out what we need to actually make the vaccine, what do these companies then have to do in order for it to actually be implemented on, broadly?
Dylan, that's a great point. That's why it's the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine, or it's the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, because the big companies like Pfizer and AstraZeneca know how to design a clinical trial, whereas the small companies like AstraZeneca or Oxford University knew all the science about how to make the vaccine.
The FDA has granted emergency use authorization for these vaccines. So what does that mean specifically? And then what is the next stage, or what do we do moving forward with the vaccines?
That's right. Yeah, so that's another really important part, Dylan, is that emergency use authorization had never been done before, which the FDA only required 2 additional months of safety data after showing the vaccine was effective, whereas normally about a year's worth of follow-up would have been required.
So a lot of these vaccines are boasting that they have maybe a 90 or 95% efficacy rate. So what exactly does that mean, and what protections are these people granted?
So what it guarantees is that's protection from serious COVID-19 that would require you to be hospitalized. And actually even symptomatic COVID-19.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, the 95% is the chance that you will not get symptomatic COVID. Is there still a chance that you could contract COVID and then possibly spread it to someone else?
We don't know for the Pfizer vaccine. For the Moderna vaccine, they were very clever, and so when they brought everyone back for their second dose, they did one of those nasal swabs, and they found that the first dose of the vaccine had offered about 65% protection against asymptomatic infection. So presumably the second dose is doing even better than that, and I think that that's got to be the reason we've seen such a drop in cases of COVID-19, is because you're preventing transmission as well as preventing the person from getting ill.
So recently a lot of governments and a lot of states have lifted the mandates such as wearing a mask, social distancing for people who have been vaccinated. So what data are the scientists looking at in order to, when they make that decision as we can now move into this stage 2 of the pandemic?
Just the incredible effectiveness of the vaccines, and I think that the CDC came to the realization that in order to be scientifically credible, they've got to go by what the data is, which is that these vaccines are so effective at not preventing just disease but transmission.
If you ran into someone who had heard something about the vaccine and maybe some conspiracy theories, what would you say to them, and how would you convince them that this vaccine is safe and effective?
Yeah, well, Dylan, one of the things that I've done is to write for a web-based publication called The Conversation. Everything that you write for that is gone over very carefully. It's very frightening because you go onto the web and so much information could be inaccurate and really terrifying to someone with the illness.